Okay, here we go.
Went to go put out the fire set. I was there to do when I say protect the property, I mean by like put out fires. So I went to go put out the fires. I just believe there were people there.
And you brought your AR-15 along?
Yes.
Why?
Because it was with me already.
Yeah, but you'd taken it off earlier when you were treating someone. You gave it to Joanne Fiedler, right?
Yes.
So you know how to take it off, don't you?
Yes.
And you can make a choice on your own whether or not to go armed with it or whether to give it to the person who is the lawful owner of it on that date, Dominic Black, correct?
I didn't take my rifle off there because there was nobody I could hand it to. And when I took it off to hand it to Joanne Fiedler, I was in a safe spot in that corner of the building where there were people protecting me at that time right there. When I went to go to the car source number 3 to put out the fire, there was nobody I could hand my rifle to that could protect me while I'm providing first aid to somebody.
But you still knew you had it.
My rifle, yes.
You still knew you...
See, when he gives these longer answers, it shows he's thinking, he explains it, and he delays the prosecution from these quick fire question answer I got you things.
You had it strapped around you?
Protect me while I'm providing first aid to somebody.
But you still knew you had it.
My rifle, yes.
You still knew you had it strapped around your body?
Yes.
And you made a conscious decision to bring it along, right?
Yes.
Why?
Ask and answer.
Give an answer about how he already had it, and we go through on it. So,
I did, but I don't really understand what...
well, was it simply that, well, I've already got it strapped on, so I might as well bring it along? Is that what you're telling us? You decided to bring along the AR-15 because, well, I've already got it? Is that your answer?
I don't think I was thinking to like, hey, I'm going to take my rifle off. I wouldn't have because there was people around that could have stolen my gun, and I didn't take my rifle off because I was going there alone. I was going to be running there alone, and I didn't take it off because no one else was there to protect
I didn't think
me,
about it.
as I was going there, so that's why I brought it.
For protection?
Yes.
You brought it along down there because you felt like you would need to protect yourself against someone else harming you, correct?
If that would have happened, I would have protected myself, but I didn't think I was going to be attacked and ambushed.
But you just said you had it for protection. What were you expecting you would need protection from?
I thought we had covered much of this before.
I'm specifically focusing in on the time period where he is heading down to the 63rd Street car source. I have not asked him about this yet, Your Honor.
Well, go ahead, but you need to pick up the pace somewhat.
When you decided to bring your AR-15 loaded with 30 rounds down to the 63rd Street car source location, what did you think you needed protection against?
I didn't really think I was going to have to protect myself.
You told us just now you brought it along for protection.
I did, but I didn't think I was going to need to protect myself.
You brought it along for protection, but you didn't think you needed protection?
Misstating, badgering.
I'm trying to clarify the two different answers that I think he just gave, Your Honor.
Well, then, go ahead. Can you?
Do you understand the question?
Not really.
I asked you why you brought the gun. You said you needed it for protection. I said, protection against what? You said you didn't think you needed protection. I'm confused. Can you help me understand why you're telling us you needed a gun for
He's not confused. He's testifying.
protection, but you didn't think you needed protection?
I brought the gun for my protection, but what I was saying is I didn't think I would have to use the gun and end up defending myself.
So you, in this video, are running.
Yes.
You run across the screen. Yes?
Yes.
And then I think you testified on direct that as you made it down the block, I don't remember exactly how you phrased it, but you stopped running and you walked for a little while. Is that right?
I jogged and walked occasionally.
Carrying the fire extinguisher and your gun.
Yes.
And you're alone at that point with no backup, right?
Yes.
And you testified that when you got down to the 63rd Street car source, you indicated that you came upon that...
See, you testified, and then he slid in, you indicated. Do you see that little slick maneuver there? Let's listen to that again.
Yes.
And you're alone at that point with no backup, right?
Yes.
And you testified that when you got down to the 63rd Street car source, you indicated that you came upon that vehicle we've been calling the Duramax. You know what vehicle?
See, by saying you indicated, he doesn't have to say exactly what he testified to, but he started it out with you testified, making the statement that you did say this, and now when I say something and paraphrase it, you're under the impression that you said it, the jury's under the impression you said it, and now you're going to answer the question because you or your defense attorney didn't correct me.
I'm talking about?
I do.
And you indicated that when you got there, you walked around that vehicle and you saw a person that you now know to be Joshua Zeminski. Is that right?
I walked up to the Duramax. Yes.
You didn't know Joshua Zeminski's name at that point, correct?
No.
You hadn't taken any notice of him at all up until that moment, all night long. Fair?
Fair.
This is the first time that you see that this is a person that comes to your attention. Fair?
Yes.
And you said he had a gun in his hand.
Yes.
And you put the fire extinguisher down on the ground.
I dropped the fire extinguisher.
And then you...
See, I just went by that? I dropped it, implying urgency, fear, and the DA went right by it.
And you put the fire extinguisher down on the ground.
I dropped the fire extinguisher.
And then you hear or see Mr. Rosenbaum coming from behind you.
When I get to the Duramax, I step forward, and then Mr. Zeminski turns towards me, and he steps towards me. I drop the fire extinguisher, step back, and that's when I see, I go to run back towards 59th Street.
And Mr. Rosenbaum is coming.
He interrupted him. Let him answer.
And then that's when I notice Mr. Rosenbaum running at me, leaving me with Mr. Zeminski in front of me with the gun.
See, the DA doesn't want him retelling his story because it hurts his case. That's why he wanted to interrupt him. And if the judge didn't stop him, he would have got away with it because the defense is sitting on their ass.
Mrs. Zeminski right there, a couple feet away, and then some other people there.
And then the chase happens. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Have you told us everything that you did when that situation just happened at the Duramax?
Yes.
Can we play the iPad, please? The iPad?
See, that was a setup question. I've told you everything I did to the best of my recollection. I told you everything that I can remember.
With the drone video? This is exhibit number 7. Admitted into evidence as exhibit number 73. This is a video taken by a drone. We're going to play the beginning of this video on the area.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this, and I'd like to hear it outside the presence of the jury.
Perfect time for a break, don't you think? Let's take a break. Please don't talk about the case during the break. Read, watch, or listen to any account of the trial.
Okay, so he just asked for something out of the presence of the jury.
I think they went upstairs. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I don't know what the state's going to do next, but I suspect that it's something along the lines of they're going to use the iPad, and Mr. Binger was talking about pinching the screen. iPads, which are made by Apple, have artificial intelligence in them that allow things to be viewed through 3 dimensions and logarithms. Logarithms, I don't understand it all either. And it uses artificial intelligence, or their logarithms, to create what they believe is happening.
Is he talking about algorithms or a logarithm? Is that something different?
So this isn't actually enhanced video. This is Apple's iPad programming creating what it thinks is there, not what necessarily is there.
Oh, that's a pretty good point.
And I don't know what's going to happen, but we had this video enhanced. We have testimony regarding it. And this is one of the topics that came up. I asked my expert. I said, do you know of anything that does something like that? Because that was when Detective Antaramian testified about pinching his telephone. And that's what I was told. And that's what I think this is going. And I don't think that it's appropriate. It's wrong.
Mr. Binger?
And the reason it's wrong is because it's not best evidence. It's not real evidence. And when you got a computer saying what it is, it's unfair to judge my client on what he's seeing or to say what he did.
Your Honor, I think everybody in this room has a smartphone, whether it's an Apple iPhone or some other device. And I think we've all taken a photograph or a video at one point or another and used the pinch to zoom in feature. This is a common part of everyone's everyday life. In the olden days, you had a photograph and a magnifying glass, right? That doesn't change the photograph. When you use a magnifying glass to look at words on a paper or a photograph, the magnifying glass doesn't change the image. It doesn't change the pixels on the paper. It doesn't change the words in the book. All it does is make them easier to see. The pinch and zoom feature on the iPad or the iPhone or an Android phone, whatever device everyone in this room has, does that exact same thing. Now, if counsel has an expert who will say that this is unreliable or distorting the image or something along those lines, even though this is something everybody in this room has done with countless videos and photos throughout the last 10 years of our lives here, this is a factor, this is a feature of everyday life in America now with smartphones. If they want to have an expert come in and say it's unreliable and you can't believe what's on that screen, they can do that. We're still in their case. And then the jury can make a decision as to whether or not pinching and zooming on an iPad or an iPhone is tampering with the video or altering the image or unreliable or shouldn't be given any weight. So if they want to make a jury question out of this, they are free to do so. We're still in their case in chief. But I don't, frankly, understand or agree with anything counsel just said. I've used my phone. I think probably you have too. I think this is something within everyone's common knowledge to pinch and zoom on a screen. And that's what's going on here. It does not change the image in any way. It just makes it like a magnifying glass.
Well, I don't know. When I put the magnifying glass up, then it's enlarging the image. It is not altering the image. What he's saying, I think, and I know less than anyone in the room here, I'm sure about all this stuff, But I'm hearing him to say that they're actually artificially inserting pixels into there, which is altering the object which is being portrayed. And so, you know what, I myself, when confronted with these changes in technology, what I usually do is to admit the evidence, but make sure that the finder of fact is aware of the fact that it is not the original image and the method by which it's been enhanced. You're suggesting that I should make the defense bring in an expert for it. My thought would be that actually you're the one who's offering the exhibit, so you should be in a position to offer evidence as to the fact that it is not distorting the object which is depicted.
Good.
I would submit, Your Honor, that I think it's common sense to everyone in this room that that's not what's going on here. And what counsel is saying about Apple software and logarithms and things like that is not something that people in this room are familiar with.
I thought I heard the expert say on the stand, and believe me, again, this is not something I'm familiar with, but I thought I heard the expert say that you brought down from the crime lab that in fact that there were alterations made by adding pixels. That's an alteration of the image. So I don't have any problem with it being received, but you're going to have someone testify that it's a reliable, I don't want to say mirror image, but because obviously if you insert more items into an area of space, it's going to distort.
It's not the original.
I think, Your Honor, when the pinch and zoom maneuver is used on a screen, it actually, it takes the high resolution that we see here and it brings it into the point where the pixels are actually spread out more.
And you know what? I'm not going to accept as accurate what Richards is saying, and I'm not going to accept what you're telling me. I said if you can offer somebody who's knowledgeable in these areas, the document or the I think you should be allowed to use the image. But this is high risk to me. If you insert more data into an area of space, well, you're wagging your head no. Tell me where I'm wrong.
There's no proof in this record that we're doing that, Your Honor.
I didn't say there was proof of it. I said you have the burden of proof. You're the proponent of the exhibit, and you need to tell me that it's reliable.
The exhibit's already evidence, Your Honor.
That I know.
The enhanced exhibit is not in evidence.
This is not enhancing.
Well, then why show it?
I
mean, the reason you want to show it is so because it enhances the image, right? No, one at a time.
I'll say what Mr. Krause was just saying. The defense has taken videos and photos and cropped them, zoomed in on them, on many exhibits in this trial. And this is, again, like I said, the magnifying glass is not changing the image. What the expert testified to about his software program was that he used video editing software used by the crime lab with pinching and zooming on an iPhone. They're different from software programs, different procedures, and I don't think it's fair to extrapolate this. Every one of those jurors is familiar with this process. This is a fundamental part of our lives nowadays. It's much...
Just because I know how to pinch and zoom does not mean I know anything about Apple software, what it does or what it doesn't do, whether it adds pixel or it doesn't. Just because, I know how to drive a car, it doesn't tell me the specs of the engine and the measurements and everything else about the car. So this argument is bullshit in my book. But the judge, I think, is going to say, bring in an expert. He didn't want to bring in an expert, and he just wants to get the shit in.
Like 100 years ago, people used magnifying glasses. This is no different than that. And I think this is common knowledge, and I don't think I need any sort of expertise on this issue. If the defense wants to...
You need it if the judge says you need it.
With it, they have an expert who can offer testimony. But the exhibit's already in evidence. It would be
first off,
a photograph of it and then holding up an enlargement. I mean, we had a guy coming yesterday with Walgreens prints. I mean, this is what is done with photographs all the time. There's enlargements done in the lab. It doesn't change the pixels.
No. I don't want to hear about what happened earlier in the trial that came in without objection. If you didn't object, then I didn't address it. Now, I'm not going to police this case, so everybody, anytime somebody wants to put some evidence in, I'm going to say, well, wait a minute, what about that? What about that? I have to have an objection. I get an objection, and then I rule on it. There has been no objection during this trial when either side has exploded an image or anything like that. If you'd have brought in an objection, if he'd have brought in an objection, I would have ruled on it. But to say now, well, this has already been done during the trial. I've got an objection in front of me now. He's suggesting that the amplifying the image is altering what is portrayed, the image which is portrayed, and you're giving me as a defense, it's no different from using a magnifying glass. I don't believe that. Because if I take, the image is the same, and all it is doing is improving my poor old vision, here you've got someone, correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe the expert testified that he had inserted, or either him or the device inserted additional pixels into the image. That
Different program, Your Honor.
I don't know what kind of I don't care what kind of a program it is. The question is the image in its virginal state?
That's fine. I care about what program it is, Your Honor, because these are technical issues. Mr. Richards has just made representations with no basis whatsoever.
Can you slow down?
Absolutely.
Just take it over.
Mr. Richards has just made technical representations with no basis in this record whatsoever. He is questioning a common part of life that we use, everyone uses, every single day. The expert who testified was talking about a different software program, and it does make a difference.
I don't know.
Well, then if it's an issue, let's
Well,
let's
you're the
make it
proponent.
right.
I said before, I'm not going to talk about it further. You're the proponent, and you need to assure me before I let the jury speculate on it that it is a reliable method that does not distort what is depicted.
That means he lost. I freaking love it. He's going to be pissed.
So,
Okay, so we're going to take a break.
I understood you correctly. We can play it now, and then we'll tie it up later.
I don't think that's what I said.
That's what I thought you said, so that's why I'm asking.
I don't know. Maybe I did. If I said that, shame on me. I said
not
that
what he
we're going to
said.
take a break right now. And I said before I'm going to allow this to be amplified in the way that you want, it is going to have to be shown, demonstrated to me that it's a reliable way to do it.
Then we would request an adjournment to do that now.
Well, we're not going to adjourn the case now to do that.
Well, before I am done with my cross-examination of this witness, I would like to use this video, and I will need some time to make arrangements for what you're asking. So I would ask that before I am, I would like time to do that before I'm done cross-examining this witness, because this is an important exhibit.
See, he just found a way to delay this so he can have all night to go do research and get this kid back up here tomorrow. This is his delay ploy to keep questioning this kid.
That I intend to use with
Well,
this
hey,
witness.
Pam, why don't you get on it right away? And, maybe you can get somebody to testify on this within minutes. I don't know. So we'll take a break.
What
Let's.
operating system are they using on the iPad?
We can answer that question.
You know,
Not off the top of my head.
thank you.
Well,
I know.
I didn't hear what he asked.
so we'll take a break.
What
Let's.
operating system are they using on the iPad?
We can answer that question.
You know,
Not off the top of my head.
thank you.
Well,
What operation system you use? I don't know off the top of my head. Thank you. So he just kind of made the point that you're saying it doesn't exist, yet you don't even know. Because you're a lying, freaking, sneaky, low-down DA who's crooked as shit. But I digress.
I know.
okay. Let's aim for 320.
Okay, so we're back after the break. If the defense was on their toes, they would say, Your Honor, if the prosecution says he needs more time for this in order to call my client back, I would ask that he finish up his direct, and when we come back, this is the only issue that he can use. I don't want him using this as a delay and stall technique to get my client on a stand so he can get another bite at the apple. That's what he should say.
We're going to watch exhibit number 82. This is a version of the drone footage that was introduced by our expert, James Armstrong, yesterday. And I'd like to be able to put this TV centrally so everybody can see it. So if you could let us know if you're able to see it when we move it, please.
Because I care about you jurors. I'm a good guy. We're on the same team.
Oh, yeah, I'll turn them on. As we play this video, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, which is at the front end of the Duramax. There's an individual here on the I'd like you to keep your eyes on that location. Before we begin the video, Mr. Rittenhouse, are you able to see this video okay?
Yes.
Fine. Please go ahead and play that.
It appears to be in slow motion.
Could we please play that again? I'm going to have you pause at a moment right at the beginning. Pause. And Mr. Rittenhouse, you told us earlier everything that you did when you first got to this location, correct?
Yes.
What you didn't tell us is that right here on the video, you have your gun raised, don't you?
I can't see it.
You know what? This is a nice 4K TV. I'm going to turn it a little bit towards you. Move it a little bit back so the jury can see it. Are you able to see that screen okay?
I don't think all the jurors can see it now.
I want to be able to play it for the defendant to be able to see it up
I understand. I'm just thinking if perhaps he could take the chair of the officer. And do you want to go over there as well?
Would it be easier, Mr. Rittenhouse, if you came and stood a little closer to that screen?
Is that the same
Well,
definition?
and you're using the pointer, so we want to all be looking at the same TV.
Okay.
Okay.
Would it be appropriate for Mr. Rittenhouse to
Sure.
stand closer to the TV?
As long as he doesn't block the jurors, he and Mr. Richards can go over here.
All right,
And,
let's
As long as he doesn't what the jurors?
I'll move this back.
The same TV.
Okay.
Okay.
Would it be appropriate for Mr. Rittenhouse to stand closer to the TV?
As long as he doesn't find the jurors, Mr. Richards.
As long as he doesn't block the jurors.
Over here.
All right, let's, I'll move this back.
Stand right down there, please.
Let's go back to the beginning of the video, please. I'm going to tell you when to pause.
Don't want to sell it. Well,
Slow down by 50%.
All right, let's start the video. Pause. Mr. Rittenhouse, you just came in the screen, put the fire extinguisher down, and now you've got your weapon raised, don't you? Let's play one more time.
I can't even see him.
Pause. Mr. Rittenhouse, can you see in that video that you raised your weapon and pointed it at someone? I can't tell. Let's play one more time.
Your Honor, he's answering the question.
He says he can't see, so I'm trying to help him see. Go ahead. Pause. Pause the video.
It doesn't look like I raised my rifle. It looks like my shoulder's up, but my rifle is pointed downward.
Good answer.
All right. Of raising and pointing your rifle when you first got to that location, is that right?
Yeah.
Testimony today under oath is that you have no memory of raising and pointing your rifle when you first got to that location, is that right?
Yes.
You see yourself put the fire extinguisher down.
I see myself drop it. Yes.
Let's play Exhibit 84 now, please.
You guys probably feel like really big men taking away a kid's life.
Go ahead and play. Pause. In this video at this point, Mr. Rittenhouse, you have turned around and you are pointing your weapon at Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Yes.
And there's a point. Let's continue the video, please. All right, let's pause. Go back and start at the beginning again, please.
How many times are we going to play this?
Pause. Can you go back about half a second, please? Go back just a little bit more, please. Why don't you go back to the beginning and play, and I'll try and pause you a little bit better. Pause. There's a point where Mr. Rosenbaum is running after you, where he raises his hands and leaps up in the air, correct?
I wouldn't say he leaped in the air. I'd say he continued to run at me. He just threw his hands up.
He threw both of his hands up in the air, right?
Yes.
And you could see that he was unarmed, correct?
Yes.
Please continue the video. Pause. Joseph Rosenbaum never touched you in any way during that incident, correct?
He touched my gun.
He didn't touch your body in any way, did he?
No.
He didn't kick you?
No.
He didn't punch you?
No.
Other than that plastic bag, he didn't throw anything at you?
No.
He didn't have a gun on him?
Ask
He didn't have
and
a knife
answer.
on him? He didn't have a chain on him?
No.
He didn't have a bat
Jesus Christ, man. Come on, dude.
on him?
No.
He didn't have any weapon of any kind, correct?
Other than him grabbing my gun, no.
Well, he didn't have possession of that gun. You did, correct?
I was holding it, yes.
And it was strapped to your body, correct?
Yes.
At all times during this incident, you retained possession of your AR-15, correct?
Yes.
Can we please play exhibit? I apologize, Brian. Pause. Right before Mr. Rosenbaum disappears behind that car, did you see him jump up in the air with his hands out?
No, I saw him do something like this. Like,
That was a reaction to you pointing the gun at him, correct?
yes, but he kept running at me, so I didn't.
I don't know what was in his mind. Your Honor, objection! My client doesn't know what was in his mind when he raised his hand. What is the freaking defense attorney doing?
It didn't deter him.
But it slowed him down a little bit. He does this sort of jump with his hands in the air when you're pointing the gun at him, right?
No, he continues to gain speed on me.
Okay. Now let's play exhibit 86, please.
Okay?
Yeah.
I turned.
All right, pause it. Did you slow down?
Did I?
Yeah.
I turned around, and I may have slowed down a little bit.
It looks like you slowed down before you even turned around.
Yes.
You characterized Mr. Rosenbaum as advancing on you, speeding up towards you, but you actually slowed down, didn't you?
Because of the people around the cars, yes.
But after the shooting, you run around those cars and head back towards the direction you originally wanted to go to, right?
Yes.
So those people didn't stop that, did they?
They weren't there after I shot Mr. Rosenbaum.
They scattered after you fired your gun 4 times, didn't they?
Yes, they weren't there anymore.
And you've heard Dr. Kelly's testimony that the first gunshot from you to Mr. Rosenbaum caused Mr. Rosenbaum to start falling to the ground. Did you hear that testimony?
I did.
And then you continued to fire 3 more shots into him after that, didn't you?
I continued to fire until he was no longer a threat to me.
When he's falling to the ground in front of you, he's no longer a threat to you. His pelvis is broken, right?
I don't know.
But he's fallen to the ground, isn't he?
I saw him ledging towards my gun, and I remember his hand on the barrel of my gun.
Because he was trying to push it out of the way so you wouldn't shoot him.
Sustained.
Objection. He
What
can't say what
was-
was in his mind.
The risk to you. What was the risk to you of death or great bodily harm? And
This is where he's got to be careful. If he says he wasn't scared, or whatever, if he got that gun away from me, he could have used it against me. I didn't know if he didn't have any guns. I didn't know if he didn't have a knife in his back pocket. I didn't know if the 100 people behind me that I saw before I turned around were coming and hit me with a rock. I didn't know all that. See, and I just don't know if he's capable of doing that.
at the moment you killed Joseph Rosenbaum.
If I would have let Mr. Rosenbaum take my firearm from me, he would have used it and killed me with it and probably killed more people if I would have let him get my gun.
Mr. Rosenbaum never said anything to you about taking your gun, did he?
It cut my
He
heart
didn't say
out.
anything, but he tried to take my gun.
And whoever's got that gun is a threat to everyone else?
If he would have taken my gun, he would have used it against me.
Let's break that down. First of all, you had already prevented him from taking your gun by running away and doing that little dip and dodge that Mr. McGinnis talked about, right?
He was still coming after my gun.
But you could have kept running. You could
No,
have turned back around like you did, couldn't you?
No, I couldn't have.
You have the gun strapped to your body at this moment, correct?
Yes.
The strap is designed to keep that on your body so it doesn't come off, correct?
To help retain it, yes.
And you have both hands on the gun, correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Rosenbaum has never said anything at all about wanting your gun. You never heard him say anything about that, correct?
I haven't.
You never said anything. He never said anything to you about using that gun at all, correct?
I don't know what Mr. Rosenbaum was thinking when he tried to grab my gun.
You just assumed that he was going to use it, that he was going to try and take it from you, first of all, and then you assumed he was going to try and use it on you.
If I would have let Mr. Rosenbaum get my gun, he would have killed me.
But you had already pointed your gun at him.
Yes, because he was chasing me.
Did you want him to think that you were going to shoot him?
No, I never wanted to shoot Mr. Rosenbaum.
Why'd you point it at him if you didn't have any intention of shooting?
He was chasing me. I was alone. He threatened to kill me earlier in that night. I didn't want to have to shoot him.
But you understand how dangerous it is to point a gun at someone, don't you?
I pointed at him because he kept running at me, and I didn't want him to chase me.
But you understand how dangerous that is, don't you?
I pointed at him because he was chasing me.
I'll ask the question a third time, Mr. Rittenhouse. You understand.
No comment. Just ask
He's asked and answered 3 times.
your question.
You understand how dangerous it is to point a gun at someone, correct?
Yes.
You understand that that puts someone else in fear.
I pointed at him because he was chasing me.
I'll ask the question a third time, Mr. Rittenhouse. You understand.
No comment. Just ask your question.
You understand how dangerous it is to point a gun at someone, correct?
Play that?
Yes.
He's
You
stuck.
understand that that puts someone else in fear that they're about to be killed, right?
He was chasing me.
You understand that when you point your AR-15 at someone else, that may make them feel like they are about to be killed by you, correct?
Mr. Rosenbaum was chasing me. He said he was going to kill me if he got me alone. I was alone. I was running from him. I pointed at him, and it didn't stop him from continuing to chase me.
Did you hear my question?
Yes.
Yet you chose not to answer it.
Objection, Your Honor. He answered. He just didn't like the answer.
My question is, you understand that when you point your AR-15 at someone, it may make them feel like you're going to kill them, correct?
How does he know how people are going to feel?
He asked if it would affect someone that way so as to perhaps deter the person.
Do you understand my question?
I do.
Can you please answer it?
He did. I said, Mr. Rosenbaum was chasing me. I pointed my gun at him, and that did not deter him. He could have ran away instead of trying to take my gun from me. but he kept chasing me. It didn't stop him.
Mr. Rittenhouse, you're telling us that you felt like you were about to die, right?
Yes.
But when you point the gun at someone else, that's going to make them feel like they're about to die, right? That's what you wanted him to feel.
No.
You wanted him to get the message from you that
He's testifying. He's not answering a question.
if you come any closer, I'm going to kill you. That's why you pointed the gun at him, right?
I pointed the gun at him to deter him from... I pointed the gun at him so he would stop chasing me. That's why I pointed the gun at him.
Because if you point the gun at him, you were hoping he would stop chasing you because he would get the message from you that if he keeps coming, you're going to kill him, right?
I didn't
No.
want to have to kill Mr. Rosenbaum.
That's not the question I asked. You, the
Serving illegitimate purposes.
It seems argumentative, Mr. He said it serves no useful purpose, it's badgering. It does seem argumentative.
You intended, in that sequence we just saw, you intended to point your gun back at Mr. Rosenbaum in the middle of the parking lot, right?
I pointed at him so he would stop chasing me, but he didn't stop.
That was your intentional decision to point at him. That wasn't an accident.
I'm going to interrupt here. The jury cannot see you.
I thought we moved it. I'm sorry.
No, so please get it out of there.
The point I'm trying to get at, Mr. Rittenhouse, is that that wasn't like an accidental turning around and it just happens to be pointing in his direction, much like I'm just happen to, wave this around. You made an intentional decision in the middle of that incident to turn.
See, he's trying to prove intent, which it doesn't matter. It was self-defense. He intended to defend himself.
Turn and point the gun at Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Yes.
And you can understand why that would make someone fearful for their life, right?
But he continued to chase me after, so no, I can't.
It didn't work.
It didn't stop Mr. Rosenbaum from chasing me.
And even after you shoot him one time and he starts falling, you continue to shoot 3 more times, right?
I continued to shoot until he was no longer a threat.
The 4 shots happened within less than a second. It wasn't a conscious thought.
To me.
And then after that, you run around and he's lying there, face down on the ground, correct?
Yes.
And you're a medic, correct?
I have first aid training, yes.
Well, you proclaimed yourself that night to be a medic, an EMT. You told everyone that, right?
Yes.
And you had your medic bag with you, correct?
Yes.
And this location is right across the street from a hospital, isn't it?
Yes.
But your first thought was run away.
My first thought was to help him.
You didn't do anything to help him. You didn't do a single thing, did you?
The crowd started to scream, get him, get him, get him, and I didn't want to stay there with the crowd building and the mob advancing on me.
Were you surprised that a crowd would react that way when they just saw you shoot someone?
I don't know.
When you stood over Mr. Rosenbaum's body, did you know?
Go ahead.
When you stood over Mr. Rosenbaum's body, did you know whether he was dead or alive?
I didn't.
Did you know whether or not it was possible at that moment to try and save him?
There was actually somebody in front of me doing life-saving on him.
I wanted to help Mr. Rosenbaum, and if the crowd wouldn't have started screaming to get him, get him, get him, I would have stayed and did everything I could to help Mr. Rosenbaum, but the crowd just started to chase me and scream at me.
Let's play, can we have Exhibit 14, please? At the 3-hour 50...
You know Mom hates that DA. Hell, he ain't even my son, and I hate his ass.
So the orders you hear about yelling no cameras, it was like this. That's it, man. You got a gun, baby.
I can't even believe with all this crowd and everybody chasing him and all the violence, they're making this kid the bad guy. Out freaking outrageous. Those 4 rounds were so fast, there's no way that he thought around each round. It was instinctive and it was fearful.
Plus, after you fired your 4 shots at Mr. Rosenbaum, there were 3 more gunshots right after that, right?
Yes.
And those were coming from very close to where you were, weren't they?
Yes.
They were coming from right here on the south side of the 63rd Street car source.
Is that a
right
question
alongside
or a
63rd Street
statement?
on the north side of 63rd, right?
Yes.
See how he makes a statement and then goes, right? Makes a statement, correct? Man,
You didn't react at all to those gunshots, did you?
That time my audio was still going in and out partially.
But again, my question is, you didn't react at all to those, did you?
Not that I can see.
Let's continue, please.
Shot him, man. Shot him. Shot him, man. He laid him out. He laid him out, y'all. Laid him out.
No one in that crowd yells, "Get him," or anything threatening towards you until after you start running away, right?
No.
You had time in that moment to make a phone call, didn't you?
I called Dominic Black, yes.
You could have called 911, right?
Yes.
But you chose to call your best friend, right?
I called the first number on my phone.
Is that quicker than 3 digits, 911?
I don't know.
And then you started running.
Yes.
And the first person you encounter as you're running is Jason Lakowski, correct?
Yes.
This is a person that you had barely known for 15 minutes that night, right?
Yes.
And you told him you didn't shoot anyone, correct?
No.
So who thinks right now that it was good putting him on a stand? On what he got from the short answers from his defense team to what the DA is doing, who thinks it was worth putting him on a stand? I'm not sure. I'm leaning to where it wasn't.
You heard his testimony about that, right?
Yes.
Can we please play exhibit number 12? While we're getting that ready, you talked earlier about this crowd and what they were saying, and you felt like they were coming after you. You had time to stop and have a brief little talk with Jason Lakowski, didn't you?
I stopped for a second and asked him to help me get to the police.
Even with this crowd on top of you, as you describe it, you still had time for that, didn't you?
For a second. I stopped for a second.
Let's play exhibit number 12, please.
So there was like 6 shots. Yeah.
Back up 10 seconds, please. Go ahead. Pause. There are people in the crowd that are asking you why you just shot someone, right?
Yes.
And you told him he had a gun.
At the time I was a little dazed and I was thinking of Mr. Zeminski, the pistol he had at the Duramax.
So you shot Mr. Rosenbaum because Joshua Zeminski had a pistol?
No.
You don't get to shoot someone else. You don't get to shoot someone else because someone else has a gun, right?
No.
Objection, Your Honor. He's misstating the evidence.
But you told the crowd
Or misstating testimony.
he had a gun, didn't you?
That's what I said.
And that wasn't true. Mr. Rosenbaum never had a gun, right?
He didn't have a gun.
Now can we please play exhibit number 3?
Actually, you don't know if he didn't have a gun. He could have had a gun in his pocket. You don't know.
At the 1 hour, 17 minute, and 10 second mark.
See, I would be okay with having a rule that the prosecution can have no more, or at a max, double the time that the defense had with him to prevent this. Because he is so overblowing. I'm going to keep this guy on a stand, and I'm going to wear him out, and I'm going to get him to mess up, and I'm going to keep misstating the evidence to the jury, and I'm going to use this guy to do nothing but talk to everything he's saying. He's talking to the jury. He doesn't give a shit about the answers. He doesn't give a shit about the truth. He's just trying to convince the jury on what he wants them to believe.
Who shot?
Pause. You told Mr. Grosskreutz you were going to the police, right?
Yes.
And then you said, I didn't shoot anyone, right?
I can't really make out what the last part of the words were saying.
Do you remember what you said?
I remember saying, I think I said I had to.
Let's play that back 10 seconds and play it again, please.
Hey, what are you doing? You shot somebody? Who shot? Who shot?
Pause. Pause. Aren't your exact words, I'm going to the police, I did not shoot anyone?
That's what I remember from that night, but watching that, it sounds like I said I didn't.
That, again, was not true. You just had shot someone, correct?
I did.
Why didn't you tell the truth?
I was being chased by a mountain. I don't really remember that interaction very well.
Let's play Exhibit 5, please. Now, we've heard a lot of testimony about this person who comes up behind you with something and hits you in the head. We've heard about Anthony Huber's first approach to you with his skateboard, correct?
Yes.
You testified that after a few more feet, you felt lightheaded and you stumbled. That's what you told when your attorney was asking you questions, correct?
Yes.
No one knocked you to the ground. You lost your own balance, correct?
I was hit to the point to where I stumbled
You said in response to your attorney's questions that you stumbled because you were lightheaded. Do you remember telling us that?
from getting hit, yes.
You were lightheaded because you had been running and you were being chased. That was why you were lightheaded.
How do you know? Are you testifying? You don't know why he was lightheaded. Come on, defense! This is absolutely just... I don't know if the defense is trying to get him off for lack of counsel, but they're doing a pretty damn good job. This is bullshit.
Yeah, right?
That and being hit, yes.
Let's continue. Pause. There is an individual who comes at you and jumps towards you and attempts to kick you, correct?
He does kick me, yes.
And you fire 2 shots directly at him with your AR-15, correct?
Yes.
You intended to hit him with those bullets, correct?
I intended for him. Yes.
At that close range, it's a miracle that you missed, right?
I don't know.
You intended to kill him with those shots,
No.
didn't you?
No.
Did you
Good.
even care whether or not those 2 rounds were going to kill him?
I didn't want to have to kill anybody that night.
In this moment, you're making a deliberate decision to pull the trigger twice, correct?
Yes.
That wasn't an accident. That was your conscious decision, wasn't it?
Yes.
And you're firing an AR-15 at close range to this individual, correct?
Yes.
And you knew full well that if you hit him with one or both of those bullets, it could kill him,
I also knew that if I didn't, he could kill me.
right?
There's that possibility.
If you hit him with one of those, wouldn't you agree it's a pretty strong likelihood you're going to kill him?
No.
I don't know if...
Did that even factor into your mind at that point? Did you even care whether you were going to kill him or not?
I didn't want to have to kill anybody. I was being attacked. That's why I shot him. Well, shot at him.
You shot at him with the intent of hitting him and killing him, correct?
I didn't want to kill anybody
Then why are you shooting at someone with an AR-15 at close range if you don't want to kill him?
because he's attacking me and he's stomping my face in. Jumping and kicking my face in.
That you didn't see any weapons on that person, did you?
No.
You didn't see a gun?
No.
A foot is a weapon. He hit him with his foot. And there's the defense sitting on their ass. Here we go. He didn't have a gun. He didn't have a kitchen knife. He didn't have a fork. He didn't have a spoon. He didn't have a car. He didn't have a club. Fuck.
You didn't see a knife?
No.
You didn't see a bat or a club?
No.
You didn't see a chain?
No.
All he uses is 1 foot, correct?
Yes.
Let's continue the video.
All he uses one. I wonder if a cop got kicked in the head, if the DA would be saying, I only used 1 foot. You didn't need to shoot him, officer. Who thinks that the DA's office, the government, would be grilling a cop like this if this happened? This is my biggest point on this, is that nobody has said if a cop who has training in this would have been in this situation. Every cop I know, have ever known, and probably every cop working right now would say, absolutely, I would have done what he did and probably more.
Pause. You've just shot a round into Anthony Huber's chest, right?
Yes.
Now, up until this moment, and probably for the rest of that evening, you didn't know the name Anthony Huber, did you?
I did not.
Up until this moment in this evening, you had never had any interaction with him, took any notice of him, fair to say?
Yes.
And when you shoot him, he's got his skateboard in his hand?
Yes.
You didn't see any gun in his hand, correct?
No.
You didn't see a knife?
No.
You didn't see a bat?
No.
You didn't see a club?
No.
All he's got is the skateboard, right?
That he's hit me in the head with twice, yes.
Okay. And you intended to pull the trigger at that moment with your AR-15, correct?
Yes.
That wasn't an accident.
No.
That was your deliberate decision, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that the way that gun was positioned, you were going to fire that bullet right into his chest, right?
He was attacking me, so I pulled the trigger.
And you knew that when you pulled that trigger, that bullet was going to go right into his chest, didn't you?
Ask and
I can't say-
answered.
I don't know where the bullet would have went exactly.
The end of that gun was pointed directly at his chest when you pulled the trigger, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that, correct?
Yes.
And you still pulled the trigger, didn't you?
Yes.
Because you intended to kill Anthony Huber at that moment, didn't you?
No.
What did you think was going to happen then? You got a gun that's aimed directly at his chest, you pull the trigger. What did you think was going to happen?
If I didn't pull the trigger, I thought Mr. Huber was going to kill me.
Maybe I misphrased my question. Let me try again. When you pull the trigger of the AR-15 and it is directly against Anthony Huber's chest, what did you think was going to happen to Anthony Huber?
That he would no longer be a threat to my safety.
Because he'd be dead, right?
Because he wouldn't be a threat to me. I don't know if he'd be dead or not.
Did you even care at that moment whether or not Anthony Huber lived
Oh
or
my
died?
God.
Yes.
Your only concern in that moment was your own safety, correct?
Yes.
The next shooting is of Gage Grosskreutz. We have stopped the video at a moment here when he is crouched in front of you with his hands in the air, correct?
Yes.
Your gun is pointed at him, isn't it?
It's pointed downward towards his feet.
It's pointed at his body, some part of his body, correct?
Yes.
And he's no threat to you at this moment, is he?
Your Honor, he's standing in front of him with a gun.
That's an argument you can make. I'm asking a question of the witness.
Yes.
He's no threat to you at this moment, is he?
He is a threat. He has a gun in his hand.
You saw that gun.
Yes.
So at the moment, throughout all of these moments of your interaction with Mr. Grosskreutz, you were aware of the fact that he had that gun in his hand, correct?
Not until that moment.
I'm talking about from this moment on, correct?
Yes.
And of course, that's a handgun, right?
Yes.
And you have an AR-15, correct?
Yes.
And at this particular moment, he's not pointing his gun at you, is he?
Not at that moment.
But you've got your gun pointed at him, correct?
Looking at the video, I think I'm lowering my weapon. I think it's just a still shot of where you have it to where that, but I believe in the whole video I'm lowering it, and then he points his gun at me.
Can you help me understand, Mr. Rittenhouse, why Gage Grosskreutz, with a pistol in his hand, is a threat to kill you, but you, with an AR-15 pointed at him, is not a threat to kill him?
Oh my God, dude. Can you imagine if every time a cop shot somebody, the DA's office would do this to the cops? This is just so unethical and absolutely outrageous. This guy has no integrity or ethics whatsoever. You are a miserable human being, dude. I hope what you give comes back to you tenfold, 'cause you deserve it all.
At this moment. Can you help me understand that?
I've been attacked by several people, and he decided to come and point a gun at my head. Well, first,
He hasn't done that yet, has he?
no.
So again, I ask you, in this moment, you told us Gage Grosskreutz is a threat to you right now.
Your Honor, he asked a question, then he stopped my client and didn't let him ask him. Didn't let him answer.
Yes.
He's got a pistol, not aimed at you. You've got an AR-15 aimed at him. Why is he more of a threat to you than you are to him?
Because he's attacking and chasing me, knowing that I have an AR, and knowing that I just shot 2 other people to get them off me, and he's still charging me. He's a huge threat.
Because he was moving at me with a gun in his hand.
This is right after you've killed Anthony Huber, correct?
Yes.
Right after you fired 2 shots at almost...
I didn't know I killed him. I fired 2 shots to get him off me. See, he fired his question so quick that Kyle answered yes. So now he's going to be able to say, you heard the client say he knew he killed so-and-so. That one little misstep is going to be used against him.
almost point-blank range at the man running towards the camera right now and missing him, correct?
Yes.
And you're telling us Gage Grosskreutz is the real threat at this moment?
Yes.
Good for
Can
him.
we please pull up exhibit number 80? The detail frame 500. Frame until I tell you to stop. Mr. Rittenhouse, this is immediately after Gage Grosskreutz has stopped in front of you, and you are doing something with your firearm at that moment. Do you recall that?
Yes.
You were asked some questions about what you were doing at that moment. Is it fair to say that you turn your firearm over and you're looking at it, you're examining it?
Yes.
But your testimony is you didn't do anything to actually manipulate it at that moment. Is that
Correct.
fair to say?
Correct.
Okay. Please continue.
He's tracking the threat.
Frame 500 shows you firing your AR-15 towards Gage Grosskreutz. At this particular moment, he does not have that pistol pointed towards you, does he?
He does.
His left leg has stepped across, not directly towards you, but to the side of you, correct?
Yes.
He's reaching in with his left arm towards you, correct?
Yes.
He never steps back and puts the gun in both hands in a ready aim position towards you.
There's a lot of ways that you can point a gun. It doesn't have to be in this ready position like you're demonstrating the cup and saucer like an idiot because you don't know what the hell you're doing.
See.
He doesn't do that.
He never takes that gun with his right hand and stands there and holds it out with his right hand in front of him and aims it directly at you, does he?
No, he does this, pointing it directly at my head.
And you thought that's the way he was going to shoot you?
Yeah.
You thought he ran up close to you to shoot you?
Yes.
You understand that he could have taken that gun if he wanted to and shot you from 10, 15, 20 feet away, right?
Can you rephrase? Sorry, I'm trying to understand the question.
You understand that a pistol like that doesn't need to be right up close to someone to shoot, right?
Yes.
It can shoot from 10, 15, 20 feet away, right?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskreutz could have stopped 10, 15, 20 feet away if he wanted to shoot you and fired his pistol at you, couldn't he have?
He could have, but he didn't.
And your testimony is that you believed he ran up close to you and reached in with his left hand with his gun in his right hand because that was his way of using this gun to shoot you?
See, if he was experienced, he would be able to articulate that he was a threat. He was moving in. This was a rapidly evolving situation. I was dazed. I have been hit. I have been chased. I'm making decisions in a split second, and you're asking me to think like I had time to plan all this and to do it. The actions that I did were caused by the aggressive attack of that individual. I didn't do it. I was on the ground. I was at risk. I had been hit in the head. I was the one that was in danger. He was the one that was aggressive and attacking and coming after me. See, somebody that was a little experienced could take on this punk, but he gets his jollies off picking on somebody that can't defend himself.
Yes.
Did you think he was reaching in to grab your gun?
No.
You didn't think he was going to take your gun away, did you?
I thought he was going to shoot me.
With his pistol,
Yes.
which he never actually does. Correct?
Correct.
He never fires that gun at you at all.
No.
In fact, in this entire sequence of events, no one ever fired a gun at you, did they?
Mr. Zeminski fired a gun from behind me.
Did Mr. Zeminski fire that gun at you?
I believe so.
What do you base that on? Did you see it?
The video.
Did you see it?
No.
That's you're talking about back when the incident with Mr. Rosenbaum happens, correct?
Yes.
That happened while you and Mr. Rosenbaum are running across the car source lot, correct?
See, that's good. He got him distracted from this point, and he moved him back to another one.
Yes.
At that moment in time, you didn't see Joshua Zeminski fire a shot, did you?
No.
You heard a gunshot, right?
Yes.
But you had no idea who fired it.
I believed it was Mr. Zeminski.
So that gunshot did not at all factor into your decision to kill Joseph Rosenbaum, did it?
No, Mr. Rosenbaum trying to steal my gun did.
So you didn't think that was a gunshot from Joseph Rosenbaum?
No.
You knew he didn't have a gun?
Oh, I see what your question is now, okay. You didn't think that the shot which had been fired supposedly by Mr. Zeminski had been fired by Mr. Rosenbaum?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you heard a gunshot. You now know that was Joshua Zeminski based on watching the videos, right?
Yes.
But at the time, you didn't think that was Joseph Rosenbaum firing that shot, did you?
No.
You knew Joseph Rosenbaum didn't have a gun, right?
Yes.
I
And you
didn't know
certainly
that.
would agree with
Oh,
me.
see, he didn't know that. There's no way he could know that.
That you don't have the right to kill Joseph Rosenbaum for something Joshua Zeminski does, correct?
Yes.
When you heard that gunshot, you didn't know whether it was fired at you or up in the air or at Rosenbaum or anyone else, did you?
I heard it from behind me, but I didn't.
You didn't know where it was aimed,
Correct.
correct? You didn't feel it hit you, correct?
Correct.
You didn't hear it ricochet anywhere near you, correct?
Correct.
You received no indication that that gunshot was going to put your life in danger, correct?
I don't know.
There were gunshots going off all night long, weren't there?
Yeah, but I wasn't getting chased and attacked all night long. You keep wanting to go back to situations that weren't relevant to me at the time I'm fighting for my life and running for my life.
Sorta.
Firecrackers,
Fireworks,
gunshots?
yeah.
Hard to tell the difference?
Yeah.
Right after you kill Rosenbaum, there's 3 shots right after that, aren't there?
Yes.
From very close to where you were.
Yes.
Notice how he's using the word kill, kill, kill.
Yet you don't turn and shoot anybody there after you hear those, did you?
No.
So, getting back to my original question. In this entire sequence of events, no one ever fired a shot at you, did they?
No.
Not that I know of. I don't know. I was never hit.
After you kill Anthony Huber, shoot Gage Grosskreutz, and attempt to fire those 2 shots at the person who jumped at you, you got up and you walked away, didn't you?
Yes.
And you're about, what, a block away from the police line?
Yes.
And you know that police line's there because you're running towards it.
Yes.
And there's really nothing in the road between you and that police line, is there? After the shooting? Everybody
No.
scatters?
No, nothing in the road.
So you have a clear line of sight from where you did those shootings to those law enforcement vehicles, correct?
Yes.
They're going to get him because he turns around at one point after he hears a lot of stuff. And that's where he's going to go on this. Why didn't you go to the police? Why did you turn around? Because he was still in fear of his life and the mob was still yelling things. He was in a heightened state of awareness because he just had to shoot to defend his life. He was involved in a critical incident. He had auditory exclusion. He had tunnel vision. He had dizziness from being hit in the head. And he just can't articulate all this because he's young and the fucking DA is bullying his ass.
And you still have your AR-15.
Yes.
And the crowd is pretty much run after they hear the shots, right?
Yes.
You still have your medic bag,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
You never once offered to help anybody that you just shot, correct?
I don't.
Correct, you don't?
Correct.
Anthony Huber, he's lying there over on the ground after you shot him once in the chest, correct?
Yes.
You didn't know at that point whether he was alive or dead, did you?
I didn't.
You never went over to check, did you?
No.
You didn't know whether it was possible to save his life at that moment or not, did you?
I didn't.
And you didn't even care. You just kept on walking. Correct?
I kept walking to get to the police line.
Gage Grosskreutz, right after you shoot him in the arm, he's yelling, "I need a medic." Did you hear that?
Yes.
That's in the videos, isn't it?
Yes.
You don't do anything to help him, do you?
No.
You just decide to get out of there as fast as you can. Correct?
Yes.
Because I was in fear of my life. Have you not been paying attention to everything that happened before me? Freaking asshole. I hate bullies, man. I love taking on fucking punks like this.
If you had seen someone running up the street with a gun and the crowd was saying that that person just shot someone, like they were saying about you, you would have taken action to stop them yourself, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't have.
You're running around putting out fires, aren't you?
Yes.
A shooting's far more serious than a fire, isn't it?
Yes.
You took it upon yourself to do the things that the police and the fire departments weren't doing that night, correct?
I helped put out fires, but I wouldn't say that.
You went around offering medical service because you didn't think there were EMTs or EMS that would be able to come in there, correct?
Yes.
So you took it upon yourself to do the things that you didn't think the police or fire could do, correct?
I wouldn't say I took it upon myself, but I was helping people with first aid and putting out fires at businesses.
So if you saw someone running with a gun and everybody said, that guy just shot someone, you would have taken your AR-15 and tried to stop him, wouldn't you?
He's already
Goes to the
answered.
crowd's reaction to him, Your Honor, I think you would have reacted the same way.
The crowd is important in terms of it's a factor that bears on some of the counts as to what the surroundings were. Otherwise, the crowd is unimportant. And what the crowd.
I think the DA is working on a premise now. The judge is already pissed off at me, so I'm going to keep arguing with him. So the more he gets pissed off, the more I can complain later that he was unfair. I'm assuming that's why he keeps arguing with the judge, but I don't know. Maybe he's just a freaking idiot. I'm pretty sure he's an idiot, but
What he might have done vis-a-vis the crowd is, I don't see where we're going.
Understood. When you got back to that police line, and what'd you say, they pepper sprayed you?
I believe so, but I don't remember it.
They told you to get out of the road?
Yes.
Because they were going in there to
Yes.
do what you hadn't done, which is to try and help the people that you just shot, right?
oh my
Yes.
God, what a fucking asshole. I mean, he just phrased that so out of context. It is just a blatant, flagrant freaking lie. And he feels good about himself. Dude.
And then you went back after that to the 59th Street car stores, didn't you?
Yes.
And you told them that you just shot someone.
Yes.
Someone, meaning an individual person, correct?
I wasn't meaning individual. I was saying I just shot someone. I just shot someone.
You were told by Nick Smith that the police were coming to your location, to the 59th Street car stores, right?
I don't recall that.
And yet, you decided to flee, didn't you?
No.
You didn't stick around for the police, did you?
I went to go turn myself into the Antioch Police Department
A couple of hours later.
an hour.
Actually, it wasn't a couple hours, it was 9 was.
I'm asking the witness if the witness can answer.
Go ahead, you can answer, sir.
It was a couple of hours later, wasn't it?
No.
And in between, leaving
Notice when he even gets the wrong answer, he just moves on. Because he's making statements to the jury, he doesn't care about the answers.
that location in downtown Kenosha and getting to Antioch, you were looking at social media, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. My phone was dead.
You had heard from other people that your name was out there, right?
Later on in the evening, I believe I heard something, but no.
You knew that your picture was out there, right?
No.
You're telling me, as you sit here under oath, that after those shootings, between then and the time you turned yourself into the Antioch Police Department, you had no idea that there was social media out there with your picture and your name as the shooter.
I'm trying to recall, but I can't. I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
I have no further questions.
Nothing on that, Your Honor.
You may step down, sir.
Okay, so he could have went up there and cleaned up a lot by saying, isn't it true that when you were running this, isn't it true that you... But if he did that, then they get another bite at him. By saying, you know what? The damage is done. I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to re-question him so he doesn't get another bite at the apple. That was a tactical, calculated decision because I think he could have cleaned up a lot, and he chose not to because he didn't want to give him another bite. I think that was a smart move, in my opinion.
But before that call, that witness, I need to use the men's room.
How about a 5 to 10 minute break? Please don't talk about the case during the break. You may either use the jury room or you may remain down here in the library.
Man, this has got to be a good feeling for Kyle to get that shit over with. That was freaking brutal, people. I've been through some tough times on a stand. Nothing like that. But, man, poor kid. Okay, I know we're at an hour, but I think they only got like 10 minutes left, so let's go ahead and finish it up.
Different is it adds the new discovered video from Friday.
It also gives his opinions as to what the defendant was doing that night and his self-defense and what he was thinking and believing, etc., the pursuit, etc. There's a lot of opinions in here about what the defendant was doing. The court's order
Well,
on
let
this...
me just interrupt. I think I stated that I would allow the imaging sequences, the measurement of that, and I think I said I would allow the observations he had made about the capacity of people to observe multiple objects. That's a poor way of summarizing it. That type of data, when he talked about the car accidents, and I think it was limited to that. So he may have leftover impressions or opinions, but I don't expect I would be admitting any of that.
And I'm not intending to.
Okay.
This new written report has those, so I am objecting. It should not be admitted into evidence or shown to the jury.
All right, I don't expect it will be, and if he's offered it, unless he's got some astonishing justification, then it won't be admitted because I said I wasn't. Okay, now, the question becomes, how long will this take? Shame on me, it's 20 to 5.
It's been a long day, too. I don't know if you
Yeah,
did that.
but he's come here from Oregon and you want to get him in.
Well, no, you're available tomorrow, first thing?
Okay. I don't want to start long.
I mean, if I thought you could get your direct in 20 minutes,
Absolutely not.
then why don't we wait till tomorrow? Well, I shouldn't say that. Tell me what is expected course of the case after that, because maybe I would let you if it.
With this witness 3.
3? Raise your right hand.
That's what we have under subpoena. Well, Mr. Black isn't under subpoena. We have Drew Hernandez and Bray to clear up the racking and the spent shell casings and what evidence was recovered from
I
each
don't want
case.
to. I thought Officer Van Wee testified to emptying the gun when at the hospital.
At the crime scene,
Yeah.
number 2, event
Right.
number 2, the state is saying that my client, Paige
I know what
Grosskreutz,
he
re-racked the
said.
gun. If
Yeah,
there was a
I understand that, and I thought that Officer Van Wee said that there was a full except for 8 shots, 8 bullets.
But there was no, the word I'm looking for, live round found at event number 2. So if there was a re-racking of that bolt,
Why don't you have the defense just stipulate that there was no round left there and they didn't find any? Why do you have to bring a witness? Have them stipulate it and just tell the jury.
there would have been a live round. And
Oh,
there
see,
would-
I counted and I came up with a full load, even without any bullet being found.
And additionally, that Mr. Grosskreutz said he didn't know whether or not his gun had one in the chamber. Lukowski testified to it, and in fact, there is a live round right on the ground.
Oh, this is what your third. Okay, well, let's deal with the realities of it. Unless you gentlemen are prepared to tell me that you're going to send me your proposed instructions on within by 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and unless you're going to tell me that you're going to argue for less than an hour and a half each, then we're going to end up either working Saturday or working on Monday. So let's take a vote here because the jury did clear Tuesday, and of course, I think I read once that Abraham Lincoln, when he took a vote on the Emancipation Proclamation, all the votes were no. And then he said, but the deciding vote is aye. And so I'm going to take a vote about what you folks want to do, but that doesn't mean it's going to come out the way you want. So who wants to work Saturday?
I'll work Saturday, I'll work Monday, I'll do whatever the court asks me.
Who wants to come back on Monday? Okay, so it's 1 to they don't care to I'm going to vote with you on Monday. So okay, so I know. Is it okay if I tell the jury we are hopeful that we will conclude the case on Monday? I understand that. Is there going to be extensive rebuttal?
I don't think it's going to be extensive, but
No.
we do reserve the right to call
Sure,
public question.
I understood. Well, maybe I'll tell them I expect that we'll finish in the time which was given to us, which was included Tuesday. And we'll see what happens. All right. Anything else before I call the jury down? Oh, and then I'm going to dismiss them for the day, and we'll start in the morning with Dr. Black. Anything else?
Lock instructions by stuff, is that what you would?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So even,
But if you, are you telling me that that would be,
I'm telling you that I'll do whatever you want.
if you want, by 8?
Okay. And we're talking just about the count 6, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll send you my preliminary. No, I won't do that. I'll send you my preliminary tonight. As long as we're not going to argument until next week. I'm not going to promise that. Let's just... Cool. All right. Let's call the jury down. Dismiss them for the day. You don't have to send me anything tonight, and I won't send you anything. Oh.
Okay, so I guess they're finished for the day. We'll see you guys
All
tomorrow.
right, folks. How many are in favor of my continuing to allow that light to flicker through the remainder of...